Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to sculpt faces in Zbrush. Real quick, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and like this video to help my channel out. We are going to jump right into making faces in Zbrush. Before starting, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Ferd. He is the one responsible for showing me this method, and it helped me out so much when I first started learning the human face and trying to sculpt characters. If you haven't already checked out his art, go over to Instagram and check out what he's doing because he has some incredible sculpts. When you're sculpting the human face, it's important to break things down into sections like the eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, and tackle each section individually. If you're looking for some good reference, check out the book Anatomy for Sculptors. I'll leave a link in the description below. This is a fantastic book and an excellent resource for learning 2D to 3D and muscles and anatomy. I also can't stress enough how important it is to learn at least the basic anatomy of the human skull. If you haven't already, go back and check out my video Basic Skull Anatomy. It's a very simple breakdown of all the major parts of the human skull, and it will kind of help give you an idea of how to get started when you're sculpting a face. First, go to the lightbox, go to Project, and open up the Dynamesh sphere. Now hold Ctrl and click outside of your object and it will mask everything. Rotate to the side view, hold Shift to snap to side view. Now hold Ctrl and Alt and drag out your mask to unmask the bottom left section of your sphere. Hold Ctrl and click in the mask area one time to soften the edge of your mask, then grab your move brush, make the radius really large, and pull down that section to make the chin or the jaw. Now hold Ctrl and Shift and click on your brush icon and select the Trim Rectangle tool. Snap back to the front view and hold Ctrl and Shift and drag out your trim rectangle to trim off the left side of the head. Then we'll go into the geometry menu on the right, modify topology, and hit mirror and weld, and it will mirror this to the other side. Now take your move brush and move the chin forward just a little bit. Use your smooth brush very lightly just to kind of round out the shapes. And we'll pull forward the forehead just a tiny bit so that the front of the face is relatively flat. From the side view, use your move brush to kind of push the back end of the skull in and start shaping the back side of the bottom jaw. Notice that the angle of the jaw isn't 90 degrees, it's more of like a 110 or 120 degree angle, and it has kind of an upward tilt to it. Now we're going to take our Damien standard brush and draw in our eye line. Generally the eyes are sitting right in the middle of the face. You'll notice that my eye line is slightly higher than the middle of the face, but that's because that's where the brow line is going to sit, and the eyes are right below that. Now I draw a simple triangle from the inner corner of the eye down to the bottom of the nose, and out to the outer corner of where the eyes will be. Now we're going to go to Subtool, Append, and append in a new sphere. This is going to be the bridge of our nose. Using my Move gizmo, I just scale it down and scale it up in one direction, then I just use my Move brush to push and pull it around and sort of manipulate it into the shape that I want. Remember to keep referring back to your reference images, because every part of the face is unique and you need to be able to practice each piece individually. Now I append in a new sphere and use it for the tip of my nose. Now I hold Ctrl, Shift, and hit D to duplicate that subtool and move it to the side, and this is going to be the wing of my nose on one side, and I can mirror it over to the other side by going to Z Plugin, Subtool Master, and hitting Mirror on the X-axis. Now that I've blocked in all the major shapes of the nose, I'm just switching between the subtools and using my Move brush to manipulate them and push the points around to try and get the basic shape that I want. Now we're going to smooth out the triangle between the inner outer corner of the eye and the bottom of the nose, and we'll use the clay brush just to carve in a basic T shape on the front of the face, kind of to make the cheekbones and where the mouth is going to stick forward. I'll append in another sphere for the eyeball, scale it down, put it into place, go up to Z Plugin, Subtool Master, and mirror it on the X-axis so it shows up on the other side. Now I'll just use my clay brush to carve in the eye sockets a little more, and append in a new sphere and wrap it around the bottom of the eyes to sort of start where the cheeks are. Then I'll hold Ctrl Shift D to duplicate my subtool, use my Move gizmo to flip it upside down and move it up above the eyes, and this will kind of help me shape my brow ridge. And same thing, I'll hold Ctrl Shift D again to duplicate the subtool one more time, move it to the outside corner of the eyes and sort of start shaping the outer corner of the eye sockets, as well as the temporal ridge where the forehead meets the outer corner of the eye. If you're having trouble following some of the names that I'm using, go back and check out my Basic Skull Anatomy video because I talk all about these basic parts that I'm referring to in that video. The line of the mouth where the top and bottom lip meet generally starts about 1/3 of the distance down between the bottom of the nose and the tip of the chin. I'll duplicate my top lip and flip it upside down to start the bottom lip as well, and use the Move brush to sort of push and pull it into place. Next I append in a new sphere to start the sides of the face, but I also line this up with the bottom edge of the jaw and kind of use it to shape my jaw as a guideline. There's also a major muscle that sits right on the bridge of the nose above the tip. The skin that wraps down and around the mouth sort of connects where that nasal muscle is, and I'm trying to emulate that natural skin fold by pulling the side piece up and toward that nasal muscle on the bridge of the nose. I even appended a new sphere and put it in place on the tip of the chin so I can mess with that shape a little bit as well. Now that I've blocked in all of the major shapes of my face, I go in and start creating a little bit of detail just to bring the shapes out a little more and make them a little more recognizable. I need to give this character some eyelids, so I go to my eyeballs and I mask off the bottom half of the sphere, go to subtool and hit extract at a low number, and then I flip my mask and extract the top half of the sphere, and this creates the top and bottom eyelids. Then I'll use my move gizmo to rotate them into place a little bit and make it look like the eyes have a natural sort of open look. Once you have all of these components in place, the eyes, nose, ears, mouth, the cheeks, all of the major shapes of the face in place, just go through each piece individually, switch between each subtool, and just use your move brush and look at reference and try to get each piece of the face as accurate as you can to your reference. The best thing about this method is that it gives you 100% control over as many parts of the face as you have created a subtool for. Depending on whether you're trying to do a male or female character, take a look at some of the soft plane changes from different angles and different reference images to try and expand your knowledge of how the human face curves and the relationship between the eyes, nose, and mouth and all of their placement. These are all the important elements to why a certain person looks the way they do. Use the eyes as a measurement tool for your face. Generally, the distance between the eyeballs is the distance of one eyeball in between. Remember that the nose always has a bottom-facing plane that attaches to the nose wings. Try looking up different measurements and different cheats or tricks that people use to measure the distance between different parts of the face, and this will help you out a lot. Just keep working all of the smaller shapes and eventually work your way outward and start adding in detail very gradually. The more you look at anatomy and compare it to your work, the better your understanding is going to be over time. Look at the basic skull shape and look at the zygomatic like the cheekbones, look at the brow ridge in the outer corner of the eye, look at the temporal ridge and the way that it shapes inward toward the forehead. There are 1,000 different tips that I can't even possibly go into in this video because I can't explain everything about the human face in one video. The main takeaway from all of this is to study each individual part of the face separately. The face is a very complex shape, but it's made up of very simple parts that all come together to make one complex shape. Once you have your face in the shape that you wanted and everything looks good, you want to go to Subtool, go down to Merge, and hit Merge Visible. Then go up above your subtool list and click on the scene with the merged head, and if you turn on Polyframe, you can see that all of these are one subtool now. If you decide that you want to split off any of the parts like the eyes or the mouth, you can go down to Poly Groups on the right and hit Auto Groups. Now I can just hold Ctrl and Shift, click on one of the eyes, mask the entire thing, hold Ctrl and Shift and click to show everything again, and then do the same for the other eyeball, and then I can go to Subtool, go down to Split, and hit Split Masked Points. And I can also do this for the mouth. If I want to merge the rest of my face, I can go into Geometry and turn on Dynamesh. If you turn on Dynamesh and it destroys some of your detail, hit Ctrl Z and change the resolution to something a little bit higher before turning Dynamesh on. This will preserve some of your details and make it so that your sculpt sort of retains its shape a little better. And that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that this method is helpful to somebody out there. If you guys have any questions about my process or how I got through this, or if I missed anything, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to help my channel out. Don't forget to go and check out the community tab on my channel because I'm always posting surveys and questions to try and get feedback from you guys about topics that I can do videos on in the future. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time.